It's another K-Town beat.
YouTube. It's your boy, Mr. Outliner. I'm back. I got a video today. This is just how to fade, period, right? We just showing you how to fade. I'm not going to call it a certain type of fade. Nothing. You can call it what you want to call it today. You dig what I'm saying? So today, this is just how to fade, and it's going to be very detailed. So I'm only going to show you one side of the head plus the edge up, right? No enhancements on this video at all, right? And the reason for me doing this, I want you to just focus on fading. If you're a new barber or you're struggling in a certain area, I want you to just be able to focus on this so you can always come back to this video and, get the information for exactly how to fade, right? So when I feel like if I'm gonna do a video, I gotta educate you on something. Even if I'm doing a haircut video, sometimes I educate you on other barber tips, because it's not always about just cutting hair, right? It's a whole list of things that go together perfectly that creates a great barber, right? I've been cutting 20 years plus now. So you make your first guideline. Use whatever clipper you want to do or trimmer to make your first guideline. Next, this is a different technique, right? So normally you probably would come with no guard, open, up to the same level. Now, I skipped a blade or a guard here and went with the one guard closed because I want to show you the difference, the transition. Now, I used the temple area where I pointed to as a guideline that I would use on the same other side of the head, right? So since I had it, closed to make the first guideline, I used that same one guard open to attack the guideline that we had just made. So what that does is give me an opportunity again to see the transition, because what I want to do is have it thicker at the top than at the bottom, right? I want you to be able to see that transition. That's the whole thing about fading, is transition. Now I take my 1.5 guard because I can look at the hair at that point and say a 1.5 is going to work right here. You have to be able to eyeball the hair, right? And be able to say this takes a 1.5. If I leave it open or if I leave it closed, this is what it'll do. So you have to, analyze, assess before you put the guard to the hair, right? Or your clipper to the hair. So like I said, I want to create a transition. So using the 1.5 up at the top and working my way down, closing the lever down. So I already got the bottom blended in kind of, right? I'm transitioning from that second guideline that we made on from the top to that second guideline, right? You see the area kind of where I'm at, where I'm brushing. That's the area that I want to smooth out, because that bottom line is going to be easy to move out, right? But I'm trying to create the transition just in between. So my 1.5, I'm working it back and forth. Now I'm combing or brushing at the same time because I need to be able to see how the hair is laying and how it's going to sit or lay after I brush it or comb it. Right, this is also important in creating a transition. You have to use a comb or brush to make the hair lay down. Another thing you want to do, you want to pay attention to the fade from a side view, right? Because it's kind of like you almost facing them and you paying attention just to the side. That'll give you an angle where you can see how the fade is coming along and how others will see the fade, that's observant. They'll see the fade, because when they looking at a person face on, you can kind of see that first guideline that will be made. If it's not gone, you're going to see it, right? So that's going to help you. So after you use that 1.5 all the way, you come back, you use your one guard. Now, use the one guard and you kind of just use the corners of the blade here. Here, you're not applying much pressure at all. You're just trying to clean it up. That second guideline that we made with this one guard close, we're just trying to blend that into the 1.5 that we just used on top. Now you can start to see the transition already. The fade is coming out good, right? This is the same technique you can use on a taper, right? It doesn't matter. It's the same concept. All haircuts are basically the same concept. It's just the starting points are different, right? Taper starts, at the taper area. Drop fade drops lower. Mid fade is mid fade. That type of thing. But the transition, how you get to it, where you can see it, all that remains the same. Now, after you use the one guard, you see I'm just focused on the bottom now. You see how easy it is for me to focus and easy for me to see how high I don't have to go, right? This is all control. You want to have control over the whole haircut. You want to be able to make it easy for you to see what's going on, right? So use the corner of the blade, remove that. Now, like I said, this is pretty much blended to a certain degree, right? But I would probably just keep working on it a little more, because I'm gonna look at it from this angle, from that angle, to make sure that my eye's not deceiving me. You can use your mirror too, but sometimes the mirror on the fade part might trick you a little bit. It's gonna show you if your line's straight and things like that. But the eye test is another thing too, especially on the fade, right? So you see I'm diligently working here. I'm not speeding up. I'm taking my time because I want that fade to be flawless, right? That's what I want, and that's what I'm getting right here. You know what I mean? So the other key thing I'm preaching to you is to take your time and just look at it. Pay attention to what you're doing. You know what I mean? So sometimes people get backed up. They start going a little faster. But if you want to learn how to be faster, that just comes with repetition, right? Over time, you do the exact same thing over and over and over and over, and it becomes fluent to you, right? It's an everyday thing. It's muscle memory at that point, right? So don't worry about speed, but more so worry about if it's blended nicely, perfectly, with that part. Learn to blend, learn how to fade. Once you learn how to fade, then you go to the lineup. Some people want to be good at everything so fast right away. And my thing is, you don't have to be. Dennis Rodman, basketball player, all he did was really rebound. He mastered it. He did that. Once you master one thing, you can go to the next. So if you want to master ball fades, do that. Then, master the taper and, things like that. You start, learning how to do different things, right? You know what I mean? And mastering it. You take one thing at a time and master it. Grasshoppers, right? So all of those things will eventually come to you. You don't have to really, worry about that. Those things are gonna happen for you, if you just do it in a diligent way. You see, like, you probably thought the fade was done. I'm still touching spots up because I feel like I see something. It's nothing wrong with trying to perfect it. And I thought about this video in my head while I was cutting this, because I really wanted to show, the people about fading. You know what I mean? So look, uh, like I said, I do this just to educate the barber community because I want the barber community to be better as a whole. Because I know if the barber community is better as a whole, we get stronger. You can charge more our prices. You know, we stick around. Um, you have to take pride in being a barber, right? So that's what I do it for. So that's the fade on this side. We're gonna move over into the lineup. I'm not gonna use enhancements on it. You can see right now he's kind of thinning towards the front, but we still gonna give him a good line, and that's kind of why we left it dark around the top part, because we want to be able to see the transition. Now onto the lineup. Like I said, you can see thinning in the front. We're gonna brush it down though. It's not as bad as it looks, but it's still a lot to try to work. Let's say not a lot to try to work with here, but we're gonna still try to get them in the game with the outliner detailing mist. You know, if you ain't got yours, get yours. It's always in the description. It's just MrOutliner.com, no dot after MR, but just MrOutliner.com, and you can pick up your bottle there. So now, like I said, you want to, after you use the detailing mist, you want to, comb the hair down, brush it down, whatever you need to do to it. So you want to be able to see it. Now you want to pay attention. See, this side is super light. So I want to make sure I go under from the beginning, right? So I went under and I came across, right? Because it's not about making the line sharp on this side that I'm on, because it's not much there, but we still able to get a decent looking line there, right? The detailing mist is gonna help me with that because it's gonna hold the hair in place. That's exactly what it does. It holds the hair in place. So remember that you gotta hold the hair in place, right? Because especially with thinning hair, you don't want it to move, and you see how we brush it down and it's still in place. So, I'm just taking my time with it basically because it's not going to be exactly perfect, exactly, boxed edge up, straight across. We working with what he working with, and as a barber, like I said about the fade, you have to be able to look at that first and make that transition, right? You have to, right? You have to be able to see it before you put your clipper or trimmer on it. That's the thing that you have to do. So you see it's very, very light, especially to the left of the screen, right? But that's okay. Like I said, it's other ways to, make the lineup look, give it a kind of a definition. You use, what you have in order to do it. Like this part right here, I can make that super sharp because to give it a look also. And just that little corner right there, I can make that sharp also, just to give them a look, period. You know what I mean? So use what you can use to create sharp lines. If it's thick hair in certain areas, make that line sharp as possible, if you're not going to use enhancements, right? So this curve right here, you can make that sharp. You see that the C cup, I can make that sharp. At least I'm giving him, definition in certain places, to where it still look like he got a haircut. Now you see that fade is popping. What's popping? Brand new whip, no hopping, whatever that new little song. What's the dude's name? But anyway, Jack Harlow or something like that. But anyway, so use what you got to make the haircut, stand out without enhancements. A lot of people want to see haircuts without enhancements because they think that enhancements, don't do the haircut any justice, but it does, you know, especially in these cases, right? But anyway, I'm showing you how to do this without that. You know, you just, if you take your time, make it sharp, you can do it. You know, he got more hair to work with on this side. This side is far easier than the other side, right? And we just taking our time. Just make sure you take, you know, your trimmer and actually pull away from it, right? So the fade is nice. Now the line is nice. Now I want to clean up a little bit. You know, we doing what we do, how we do it. You know what I'm saying? But so, like I said, what I want you to take away from this is how to fade, how to transition, right? How to skip a guard in order to see a transition, right? Basic things. Taking your time, you know, looking at the haircut and analyzing it first in order to see, you know, what guard you have to use or your approach. You know, I have that system where, you analyze, and you have a system, you analyze it, and, you know, approach it and execute, you know, those things, right? So that's the fade. But anyway, that's the haircut. This is how to fade. No enhancements. Line up. On point. You know how we do it. Yesterday was Halloween. I hope y'all had a good day. But anyway, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend or tell a friend. You know how we do it. Until next time, love, peace, and hair grease. I'm out.